Welcome to Lesson 3, Bending the Sides. So I've already cut, sanded, and prepared my two sides. They're a little narrower than usual because it's going to be a semi-acoustic and electric ukulele. So the body's a little narrower, but it works the same with any size. First, you want to work out the grain so that it's book matched, and then wet them thoroughly. They don't need to be soaked, but they just need to be well covered in the water. Then we're going to take them over and wrap them up in some aluminum foil. And again, you want to arrange them so that the grain is book matched, because one's going to be a left side, one's going to be a right side. Then we'll wrap them up in some aluminum foil, make a little packet, and then take them over to the side bender. The side bender is one that I made. You make the form yourself, but the heat controller and the blanket and everything you purchase. I bought this particular one from lmii.com. It's Luthier's Mercantile International Incorporated, and it's lmii.com. So it's a piece of spring steel, and then there's the heating blanket, and then you put your wood that's in the foil. Make sure it is oriented on the form so that it'll cover all the way down to the front and back. In a future video where I show more tools, I'm going to show you how to make the forms for your bender. I also used to bend by hand on a hand bending machine that I made, which I will show in that video in the future, from an old toaster oven and a piece of aluminum tubing that I purchased off of eBay and just built a box for it, and then you can hand bend on that too. This is a little faster though, and since I'm building a lot of ukuleles now, I can be bending some sides on the form while I'm doing other things. So once it's all positioned, you got to get everything together. And then there's a little heat sensor that you put in between the heating blanket and the wood that tells the machine what the temperature is at the blanket, and then it'll keep it at a constant level and you won't cook your wood. You can see on the little indicator down on the machine that the temperature is going up now. And I've set the temperature today for 245 degrees to cook the sides. And as the packet of wood that's in the foil starts to heat up with the heating blanket in the middle, you just start cranking down on the center form. It's a really simple little machine, but it works great. So now the temperature is starting to get there, and I just crank down on the middle And you want to take your time with this because you don't want to crack the wood. You want to let it actually build up a little steam inside that foil packet and heat so that the wood will bend. And it will if you take your time. And then I take the two sides. They're kind of just, they attach to springs, but they're just basically cauls that'll slowly protect your hands from the heat, but then you can just slowly bend the sides around the form. Some people do this while the springs are attached to the form. I kind of like the feel of the wood slowly going, so I know that the wood is actually bending and it doesn't crack or break. And once I get a good bend in it, then I'll put the springs on it so that you can let the wood just sit there and cook for a little while and really get the shape. But as you can see, the wood bends pretty easily. The heating blanket's doing its job, and the steam inside the little foil packet is making the wood nice and soft. So now that it's got a good bend in it, I'll go ahead and attach the springs, and those will hold those formers in place. And that's basically all there is to it. Now I just let it sit there for a little while and cook. I think in this case I left it there for maybe 15-20 minutes. And then you turn off the heat and let it cool down to room temperature, and then you're ready to take it off the forms and begin building the body of the ukulele. And you can see down on the temperature gauge, the box just keeps it at an even temperature, and in this case it was 245 degrees. And that's about all there is to bending your sides. Hand bending is a little more complicated. If you want the plans for the drum sander, you can get those at the Makerman Workshop. And another gratuitous ukulele picture of a paddle ukulele being built. Thanks for watching.